All right, click the links to support the channel, the Coffee, PayPal, Patreon. You can send $3 or send nudes. Options up to you. Okay, this is the same idiot, and he is cognitively impaired with poor impulse control. He's a dummy. He's a big dummy who can play sports. So the puppet masters kind of treat him as their favorite dummy until he offends the puppet masters, in which case he'll be put out to pasture. He's the same dummy who was carrying around a book with a perfect spine and no crinkled pages whatsoever. I don't have any books like that. I have thousands of books, literally in this room alone. In fact, I'd like to get rid of some books. And they don't look like that because that's what a new book looks like. Most people don't have new books because you don't buy a book and put it on the shelf. In fact, almost all my books are used books. There's very few new books. That's not what a red book looks like. That's what a prop looks like. And then later, as he carried the prop with him, he was interviewed. And he was interviewed by, I don't know who the reporter was, but respect to that reporter for having balls. They asked him about the book, and his response was, oh, shit, I didn't think anyone would actually ask me about the book. Because it turns out he didn't read it, because I'm not sure if he can read. Then I saw this article by Bounding Into Comics, and they're Jack Posobiec. He's got some comic book out, I think on Indiegogo. Looks good. He's a political pundit who's, it's fine. It's like you seize on anything to make a name for yourself, and it's whatever. It's fine. I don't think about banning or boycotting a movie. I think we're way beyond, like, why the hell would you go see a mainstream movie anyway? Like, we should be way, way beyond supporting these globalist parasites who make movies. But for a tweet, when I see the tweet that he threw down about, listen, I'm as libertarian as the next person. If you want to do away with police, I am all for it. I support you, BLM. You want to get rid of the police? We will form our own neighborhood militias. We'll form our own police instantly. It will happen instantly. Our neighborhoods will be, you won't be getting into the neighborhoods without going through a checkpoint of a half dozen dudes armed to the teeth. And you're not going to cry racism or due process because there's no police. There's no, let me put it this way. Every crime without police, the suspect is going to get the death penalty. Every single time. You would be begging for the police to come back. And if you think, I think in their minds they think, oh, we're just going to go run through the suburbs and rob and loot. If there's no police to arrest the people in the suburbs who are all got shotguns and 223s, they're just going to fill your cars full of holes if they see that the wrong car approaches. They're not going to be anywhere as nice as the police because they're scared. And now the police are not there to arrest them so they can defend their neighborhoods. So when I see this tweet by King James, you're not a king, you're not a queen, you idiot. And that's not a good thing to be a king or queen, unless it's like a military thing. Because if you're working for the king, you're a slave. When he threatens to kill the state agent, and that's what it is, this is a death threat, and with it sands in the hourglass, and he doesn't get kicked off social media because the puppet masters don't want him kicked off. He doesn't get fired. His sponsors don't. Nobody raises a fuss because he's the puppet master's chosen, Luciferian spawn for the moment until his usefulness goes away. There's no accountability for him. So I don't give a shit about boycotting some stupid movie. Go stack ammo. You guys should all have Liberty devices. I know you do. Now's the time to order another magazine for those Liberty devices because you don't want to be reloading if you need the device. Handheld Liberty devices, great. A shoddy is even better. A 12 gauge says no thank you very, very well. If you, for whatever reason, you're also going to need some bottles of pepper spray, a couple of small bottles, a couple of big bottles. Like you want to be able to just hose down people. And the pepper spray, like obviously, yes, you absolutely need Liberty devices, which are great, but they're also noisy and they escalate things. Like sometimes you just want to hose some, like a mountain lion, a coyote, a pit bull, or just like you want the option of pepper spray that a Liberty device doesn't give you. So this idiot made a threat, and then he followed it up with, "I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by police." The black girl in question had a, I don't know, 7-inch knife that she was about to kill another girl with. Like milliseconds away from gutting this girl like a fish. And the cop put her down with 4 shots, saving the girl's life. Hey, in a perfect world, he would have pepper sprayed her, he would have tased her, whatever. Tasers aren't always effective though, and pepper spray takes a second to kick in. But yeah, hey, sure, in a perfect world, when he shows up on the scene, because the neighbor's security cam captured it too, and thank God he's black, because otherwise they'd burn his house down. The girls are chasing each other around, and you can't see the knife at first, and the cop might not even had eyes on the knife at first. There's one girl falls to the ground. A black man is kicking another black girl in the head. That's insane. Now that's insane on its own, and chasing each other around with knives is also insane. However, doing it in front of the police is different. Once the police show up, everyone just usually freezes, stops fighting, brushes themselves off, and pretends that they were just wrestling or whatever. You pretend to come up with a story like, oh, we were just playing around. It's like, you're bleeding. No, we're just, it's fine. We're just joking around. If you continue your illegal acts in front of the police, it shows that you're very dangerous individuals. You kick a girl in the head in front of the cops, and you attempt to murder a girl in front of the fucking cops. So, and then King James, King Nothing, sir, says the cop needs to be killed for saving a black girl's life. No, maybe we just need to separate. If you think you want to have black cops respond to black emergencies, fine, all for it. Separate, but you can't. I mean, you're going to have to do that like separate towns, separate cities, separate states. You can have black states, white states, open, diverse states. I'm all for that. There's a group called the NFAC, the No Fucking Around Crew. It's a black militia, black supremacist group. They want that. I'm like, fine. You want a black state? You can have a state right next door. It'll be a white state, and honestly, the interracial conflict will drop to zero because there won't be any. I'm absolutely on board with that. And if you say that, it's like, oh my God, you must be a supremacist. It's literally coming from the black supremacists themselves. Are you going to go call them supremacists for wanting to separate? It's not. I don't think they think they're better or worse than anybody. They just want peace, and it's one way to make peace. Anyway, so he blames everybody else but himself, because a guy like this, he was probably a star in high school. He was never held accountable. He always was just shined on and given, lip service with, like, nobody ever told him he had bad ideas, because he's throwing money around. Like, you're never gonna tell Stephen King he's overwriting, because he'll find a new yes man. That's all it comes up to. So yeah, the thing is, he's getting a lot of pushback, and there's a lot of pushback even with the Ohio girls, because people look at the video and they're looking at it and they go, maybe it's not the cops' fault. Maybe you're blaming the cops. Maybe it's like, it wasn't just one 13-year-old girl who was running around trying to kill girls. There were other people there who were acting like very not civilized people. And it, like, the girls could have calmed down. The father who was there, the black man who was kicking a girl in the head, why didn't he do something? Why didn't he take the knife away from her? You want the cops to use pepper spray? Well, guess what? Pepper spray is totally legal. I hand it out to my neighbors. I hand it out to women walking their dogs. Why didn't someone pepper spray the girl with the knife? Why didn't you do something? Why did you call the cops in the first place? I don't know. These are all good questions. So no, I don't think about boycotting some stupid movie. I think you should get yourself a Liberty device immediately, a little handheld one, or a long one. At the very least, get a couple of bottles of pepper spray, a couple small bottles, a couple of big bottles, Liberty device, a couple extra mags, and like if it's your first device, you want to run like 50 rounds through it, clean it, And that's like the bare minimum of learning how to use it. I mean, yes, you should already know how to use it, but if you literally don't, then honestly, like a revolver is probably the easiest thing, but like you got capacity with an automatic, but you got to remember that you're going to need like 3 mags, which is fine. The mags aren't expensive, so you get a couple hundred rounds of ammo, and you're pretty well set. I mean, they're just as easy as you think. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Go to Odysee, go to Bait Shoot, go to these alt medias, because like all the things that you can't say on YouTube, I hear YouTube videos now, and they're fucking lame. The quartering and all these other channels, it's like, yeah, YouTube is just, it is really, really gay now.